It's 8:30. Good morning. I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. A man remains in an induced coma in the John Hunter Hospital after a one-punch attack in Newcastle at the weekend. Police say the 20-year-old was crossing the intersection of Union Lane and King Street just after 11:30 on Friday night when he became involved in a verbal altercation with the occupants of a Holden Commodore. It's alleged a rear seat passenger got out and punched the man in the face. He fell backwards, hitting his head on the footpath, suffering a suspected skull fracture and bleeding on the brain. Patrolling police noticed the victim lying unconscious by the road and ran after the alleged attacker, but he managed to escape. It's feared children will be the big losers when one of 3 federal circuit court judges is transferred away from Newcastle. There's already a massive backlog in family court matters involving child custody battles, with Newcastle judges handling 750 cases each, which is double the national average. It's the second time in 12 months a Newcastle judge has been transferred, and it took the Turnbull government 8 months to find a replacement. President of the Newcastle Bar Association, Michael Graham, has told NBN it's the children who suffer the most when cases are delayed.
It's a manageable situation provided people act, and they need to act and act fast. It has a definite and long-term effect on the most vulnerable in our community, children.
Newcastle-based health law expert Catherine Henry is expressing concerns over the federal government's latest aged care reform. Aged Care Minister Ken Wyatt last week announced 3 industry agencies will merge into one from January 1 next year. The government hopes to address shocking instances of care or abuse on elderly people living in aged care facilities. However, Catherine Henry says increasing staff numbers and skills is the only way to prevent systematic failures.
It's a responsive policy, it's not proactive, and what aged care advocates have been arguing for many years is to initiate a system whereby we have mandatory staff to patient ratios like you have in hospitals.
Traffic congestion is back in the spotlight on the New England Highway at Maitland. Motorists are queued for 800 metres approaching the roundabout at the highway and Cessnock Road during the morning and afternoon peak. Council is in discussions with the RMS to find a solution. It's thought the installation of traffic lights will fix the problem. Council is urging the state government to fast-track funding. Catching a train at Maitland's Victoria Street station has never been easier, with improvements to facilities finally complete. 3 new elevators, bike racks and a refurbished heritage platform area all make up the station's $20 million new look. Parliamentary Secretary for the Hunter, Scott McDonald, says it's hoped elderly and disabled people will gain independence from the upgrade.
A brilliant project, part of our access program across our rail network. So we've got 3 of these new lifts for disability. We've had improvements to the car park. We've had disability access improved at the car parks. We've had better coverage over weather protection across this railway station.
Sport for our sponsor, PRD Nationwide East Maitland.
The Newcastle Jets will have to beat Melbourne City this Friday if they're to reach the A-League Grand Final. Determined to prevent injuries and late-season nerves from turning Newcastle's brilliant campaign, coach Ernie Merrick says he wants a big club mentality to take hold ahead of their clash. Newcastle Knights players have vowed to rally behind devastated skipper Mitchell Pearce, but have declared their season is not finished, despite losing their chief playmaker for up to 4 months through a pectoral injury. Coach Nathan Brown says it's now up to the other boys to work hard.
I'd like to think that with the experience that some of our younger halves have got over the previous few years, we feel our squad's stronger. We should be able to try and overcome these things. It's always a challenge when you lose good players, but if we're going to get to a stage where we are as a club, we've got to try and look at things, and we may have to manufacture 1 or 2 things.
And Northern New South Wales NPL leading goal scorer James Virgili hopes to miss only 1 game, despite dislocating his shoulder early in Broadmeadows' 2-0 win over Adamstown Rosebud yesterday. And the winning numbers in Weekend Lotto are 12, 17, 42, 31, 44 and 11, and the supplementaries are 19 and 3. 2NURFM News Time, 26 to 9.